Hello, welcome to Gary Talks About Wrestling again. We're going to talk about this week's Raw. Yes, we are. Now, before Raw starts, we have a very touching, indeed, tribute to the late great Roddy Piper. Now, what they basically do is that they have the tail end of the bell, and then they have signs of the go to the crowd and look for signs and stuff like that, and they play a tribute video, which basically did make me cry, and they played it twice, which is always good. I mean, like Roddy Piper is one of those wrestlers that I think that defines wrestling. You ask somebody who is not a wrestling fan to name a wrestler, I think Roddy Piper would probably be up there with Hulk Hogan, and with people like that, with Macho Man and people like that, somebody that even non-wrestling fans can say, that guy, I saw him and he spoke to me in that sort of way, and they live and all that sort of stuff. So, Roddy Piper deserves to be remembered, and I think that he will live on in his memories of us, and I think there is an afterlife. I don't know what you guys think, but if there is, I plan to see you when I get there, Rowdy. So that was really cool. They do that, and it was really well done. Then they cut to Raw starting proper, and it starts off with Seth Rollins, the paper champion incarnate, throwing out an open challenge. Now, the challenge is that the wrestler's got to be under 6 foot. Is that he's going an open challenge. The only caveats is that they've got to be under 6 foot, and they have to weigh less than 200 pounds. Those are the caveats. So he's basically going El Torito. He thinks that the bull from the Last Matador is going to come down, but no. Instead, who we get is Neville. Adrian Neville basically comes down and challenges Seth Rollins, and they had a pretty phenomenally good match. I mean, Adrian Neville basically launched himself as a major star, I think, in this day. So even though he lost, he showed that he basically got screwed twice by the referee, and everybody, a lot of the commentary team basically put this over huge, how hard he pushed Seth Rollins, and that Seth Rollins basically just eked out a victory and stuff like that. And I like the fact they were doing that. This is one of the times where the commentary team actually added to what happened in the ring, because people are talking about this. So yeah, that happened, and Seth Rollins, it's a pretty even match, but then Adrian Neville gets the better of him, starts getting near pinfalls and stuff like that. He gets one which is a reversal of the pedigree. He does like a over the legs pin move. He goes 1, 2, and right at the end as he's going 3, he kicks out. Then he hits Red Arrow, but he had his legs on the rope, so he had to let go. But then he goes to hit it again, and then Seth Rollins moves out of the way, hits pedigree 1, 2, 3. So it was that. Then it was so they keep on going about that. Then the next bit was it's a tag match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte and the Bella Twins. And before that, we get an introduction by Paige, basically saying that we're going to be known now as the Submission Sorority, which is a lot better than bad or whatever, and Team Bella. So you got these 3 badass, young women who come out there and submit at people, and they go against the Bella Twins, and then Charlotte makes Nikki tap out to the figure 8, which is a modified figure 4, which was awesome. And I thought they're doing the right thing here. They're building up the new people in the right way. While Team Bad are there going, whatever. So that happens. Then the next bit is this might be out of order, I do apologise, is The Miz has Miz TV, where he has Kevin Owens and Cesaro. Now, for some reason, Kevin Owens has shifted focus completely from John Cena to Cesaro, which is a bit of a slight job. But, like, the guys, Kevin Owens comes back and attacks Cesaro, but Cesaro goes to the big swing and, Kevin Owens runs to the hills. That's basically the match for you. That's match made. Then, and this is one of the worst bits. Sorry, this is part of the show where I hate this shit comes in. Stardust, Cody Rhodes, whatever he wants to call himself, starts doing this thing where he talks about Steve Amell, and he announced that Steve Amell, the star of Arrow, is going to be on the show. Now, I love Arrow. I think Arrow's a great show. I've actually got signed photographs from Carl Yoon from Comic Con this year. So, I love the show. But why is Stephen Amell here? Why is he here? He's not a wrestler. He's not in any way physical. Cody Rhodes should beat him in fact. I mean, he's built like an Olympian god. He's got a really good physique and everything. He just doesn't have the skill to do what he does. I mean, he's great in Arrow. He should stay on Arrow. Why WWE are bringing him in, I do not know. I mean, maybe they want to promote Arrow while promoting WWE Raw, or maybe it's because WWE Raw's ratings aren't doing as good as they want. So basically, they want to hop on like, well, do you know what's popular? Arrow. Oh, we'll get the person who's in that, and he'll basically boost our ratings. It could work, but it could be a disaster. But I don't like it. Next bit is Paige vs. Sorry, I'm having to remember this. Sorry, it's Paige vs. No, it's Rusev vs. Mark Henry, and Rusev hits Mark Henry twice with the Sambo kick, or whatever it's called, the jumping, switching music, one-time kick he does, and he basically pins him. So apparently he doesn't do the accolade anymore. He just does that jumping, kicky thing that he does, and that was over in about 20 seconds. So yay for keeping my interest. And then the next bit is Paige versus Naomi, who used to be a member of the Funkadactyls, who is now still wearing the same boots. So Team Bad loses to Team Paige. So Team Submission Sorority. So she makes a tap out to the PTO, which still I think looks badass. I think she doesn't use that move enough, and I'm hoping that with being in a submission sorority, she'll start using it more, because it looks badass whenever she does it. Next bit is it's probably one of the best bits of it's probably the best bit of the show, I'd say, is Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Now Paul Heyman comes through and does Paul Heyman and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, it starts to this thing about The Undertaker and stuff like that." Now, thing is that he starts going on about that you've always been beaten by The Undertaker. Now, you could have brought back the Hell in a Cell match they had, where Undertaker bled like a bugger. He bled like significantly more because he bladed wrong. But yeah, he bladed like a bitch, and basically, was bleeding, and it looks horrifying. You could have showed that. You could have showed numerous matches they had, because they had numerous matches with each other. And then, but they showed basically the match they had at WrestleMania. They showed the other things they had, and it's built up to be a pretty good thing. I mean, Undertaker's getting on in age, but I'm thinking that Rock can carry him, and yeah, it should be good. I mean, you got two, monsters, two people that have been established. I think this goes to show how they should build other people. That again, they can build monsters like this. But anyway, that was pretty good. And then they had another tribute to Roddy, which was great. I nearly got teary again. And then the main event. The main event is and throughout the Raw, they twice show what happened to John Cena. For those who didn't watch last week, Seth Rollins gives John Cena a flying knee to the face and delivers it like a UFC fighter. So basically, instead of doing, I think, wherever it's supposed to go, it goes right in his nose and breaks his nose. John Cena goes down like a ton of bricks. Because he's had this, Seth Rollins a pretty weedy looking guy, but he still weighs quite a lot. He probably weighs like a little bit less than I do. He comes out and charges with his leg and tries to fight, and then you see the rose his nose. It's like like I want to say a huge big lump. It's like his leg's basically broken in half, and he has to go to the ER. And Seth Rollins brings this up, and they show it numerous times. It's like, oh. And then the crowd make it worse. Shaming you, San Jose crowd. Go, boo, hooray for Seth Rollins for doing that. It's like, dude, that guy got injured. I know you may not like John Cena. I mean, I personally am not a fan of the guy, but a human being got hurt off an accident, off something not going quite right. And then, last match is Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton versus Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, and Sheamus. So the different factions that are trying to promote this for SummerSlam, it goes pretty well, but the faces basically win. Randy kills Bray, and then Sheamus comes in, tries to bro kick Randy, and then he gets speared for his troubles and gets pinned. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I thought this was a good Raw overall. I mean, there are parts of it I didn't like, namely the Stardust part, but again, that's because I don't like the Stardust character. I think he's a rather stupid character, but I did love I think this shows that Adrian Neville, is gonna be upper card at one point in his career. Because I think this showed maybe management, because I think they wanted to test him out and see how the fans would react, and B, how he would do against that sort of talent. And I think in both cases he proved that he's probably going to be a major force in later years. In the next couple of years, when it comes to upper card, because he sells and he flies around and he does spectacular things that no one else on the card is currently doing, apart from the Luxury Dragons. I mean, he is an amazing athlete, and I think that. Oh, I forgot a match. It was Wade Barrett versus Zack Ryder, which is basically a jobber squash. That's the reason I forgot it. Wade Barrett hits him with the bull hammer and pins him. Now, this is the first time that Wade Barrett has looked any sort of strong since becoming King of the Ring, and I think they should start pushing the guy more as the King of the Ring and start pushing the strong person that he is. Anyway, that's for this. Tell me what you thought down below, please. Let me know, and we'll see you next week. This is Gary, and we're signing out.